Every new season in Destiny, Bungie often tweaks their experience by adding improved quality of life changes to the game. Be it like the recently buffed drop rates for weapons in the Duality Dungeon, the Spoils of Conquest chest system in raids, since Deepstone Crypt, or engram focusing at vendors like we have for Gambit, Trials and Iron Banner. Hi, it's Pigeon, and today I want to talk about a few quality of life changes I'd love to see put into the game to make that PvE grind a little bit sweeter. So first up, going straight into the central PvE activities, Vanguard Strikes and Nightfalls. And in particular, I'm looking for a way to focus farm loot. We recently had a feature added that enables our playlist weapons to drop with additional perks. I actually have a video out covering this, so feel free to give a watch after. As it stands, only Crucible and Vanguard have yet to receive a focusing system. Since it was added to other vendors, it's been a welcome addition. I think it's time Strike loot gets the same treatment. This would also extend to our Adept Nightfall loot, allowing us to focus additional Adept drops for a cost at any given time. Above has a really good video putting together how this could look in game. I'll link this down below. Moving on, the next thing I'd love to see is the Spoils of Conquest chests added to all previous raids that don't have it already, namely Last Wish and Garden of Salvation. In addition to this though, I would love to see it added to all the available dungeons in game. Dungeons have been kind to us, allowing us to farm encounters over and over again, but it'd be extra sweet if we could take our spoils to focus a few drops at the end in case we didn't get the drop that we're looking for. Which brings me to my next quality of life change. Spoils of Conquest should always drop from raid encounters, especially in the featured raids. As it stands, if you jump into the weekly featured raid, you can only earn spoils through your first clear per character. But if, like me, you're farming encounter back to back, looking at you Atrax from Deepstone Crypt, it really sucks we can't earn additional spoils to take to the end chest. I also believe they should award 5 spoils for the encounter and the additional rewards from completing the raid challenges respectively. And as I'll be looking for a spoils chest at the end of dungeon runs, the featured dungeon should also drop spoils from every encounter, regardless of how many times you clear it that week. Moving on, I've been advocating for a long time about bringing back the Heroic Strikes playlist. Strikes at the moment are pretty straightforward content to plough through, and enemies of the like get absolutely memed on. Heroic Strikes would offer a better baseline challenge for players more endgame orientated. The Witch Queen Legendary campaign had an extremely fun difficulty modifier that made you think twice about your next move. Bringing a similar modifier to Strikes and giving it the loot drops to match, and we'd have a solid playlist to dive into. Next up, and it's less of a quality of life change and more of a thing that we've not had in a while, and that is adding more Adept mods centred around PvE content. The last and only ever mod we ever got to this degree was the Adept Big One spec, which was fantastic as it gives you a damage boost against all major and boss type enemies, meaning you recover for both, especially useful in locked loadout activities. As a quick example, why not give us a weapon mod that makes our champion stuns last longer, or are easier to proc? It could even come in the form of an armor mod. Ammo finders and scavenger mods are usually housed in my characters, especially for endgame content. I still think finders are completely up to chance most of the time, and the additional bricks only give the tiniest amount of ammo for special and heavy weapons. I'd love to see a better feedback loop for finders when they're working as intended, and to reward a higher percentage of ammo and pickup. In the case of ammo scavengers, as they no longer work in PvP, I'd love to see Bungie revert the cost to the original amount. I'd also low-key love if special ammo scavenger could make its way back into the game. Finally, the last thing I'd love to see added is RNG protection for the Pinnacle level grind. Aside from a complete overhaul of the leveling system, which I'm hoping could be announced at the Bungie showcase on the 23rd, all too many times I've sat needing one specific piece of armour to hit the Pinnacle cap any given season. As a band-aid solution, why not let players choose which slot their Pinnacle drop will go into when completing each Pinnacle activity? Or even a ghost mod that influences higher drop rates for a given slot. Okay, there's actually one more thing I'd love to see changed, and that is the removal of material caps in the game. My vaults line with Masterwork exotics in case I need an Ascendant shard on the fly. The Postmaster becomes backup storage for shards and prisms too. And in similar fashion, the caps and seasonal materials really need to go too. We're frequently forced out of activities in order to engage with the seasonal content to use up materials, before then backtracking to what we were doing to begin with. And that's it for today's video. Thank you everyone for helping me reach my first 1000 YouTube subscribers. If you're new here, then please feel free to subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments any changes you'd love to see implemented in the game, and while you're there, tap that thumbs up button. See you in the next one.